Hey, hi. Welcome. I'm sorry, I had a mouthful of Garditos and I was trying to aggressively chew it before the song went off.
Which is like saying, I have a mouthful of chalk.
It's like there's pretzels and bread chips in my mouth. Hello, hey y'all. Welcome to season 2, episode 3, as in menage. Menage a trois is 3. Deux is 2. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq.
Of course, now you gotta keep going.
Yeah, because you know me. If I don't do it at 100, you gotta go 110%. If you don't go 110%,
not fucking Bedazzled.
If you don't know that reference, that's from Brendan Fraser's classic film Bedazzled, which is probably one of the most. Okay, Luna is in the house acting like a lunatic.
That was her running head first into the microphone.
Yeah, she likes to bite Kirrah's microphone. And Kirrah's back.
I was on the last episode.
Yeah, Kirrah is back. But see, the thing about Kirrah is like a spotted leopard.
What?
She's like an extinct.
I prefer
Kirrah's feet, and I want to just say this because Kirrah's birthday is this Friday, so wish her happy birthday. Whoop whoop. At Naomi.
Old bitches winning.
Okay, Naomi. Okay, bitch. If you old, then I'm senior.
Whatever.
Okay, so Naomi Kemp Baldhead _ on Instagram. Send your happy birthdays if that's what you do. If you listen, if you feel like doing that.
Money.
What? Or send that coin. No, what was I about to say? Oh, Kirrah gets amazing feedback.
What?
People have literally talked about how me and Kirrah vibe. And what
Your dog's biting my
She's
hair.
literally in your hair. Luna, mama, down. Luna also bites my locks, so she fucks me up. You just slap the shit out of her. Just smack her. Just hit on the booty.
She got pissed. Ow,
Yeah.
stop.
She ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna tell you. If you don't let this die, she gonna keep going. Cause what I respect about Luna is Luna go for the gusto. She don't fuck around. She like me. She a Gemini.
Bitch, my twist
I'm not a
out.
Gemini though. Yeah, she don't give a fuck about your twist out. So I've explained to people, I was like, yo, what you need to understand is me and Kirrah shared a room for 14 years.
14 long years.
We slept 6 inches apart in 2 different twin beds in a goddamn one room for 14 years. And, that is where you're hearing all the chemistry. That's where the chemistry comes from. Even though we're 7 years apart, we tend to vibe much differently than people who are 10 years apart.
I am also mentally 38 years old.
Yeah, in some ways it's like, all right, you're 10 years younger than me, and then in others, the face is like,
I didn't want to take that personally, but
you're like, I kind of can't help myself. Luna is like, bitch, if you don't get me on this bed with this, oh, okay, so Kirrah, people like the fact that I have my like erratic, off-putting, offbeat, non sequitur humor, and you kind of just think I'm ridiculous.
Well, in your defense, I think everyone's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true.
But also being ridiculous.
But I also don't mind being ridiculous, which is the difference. It's the people who find being ridiculous embarrassing that usually respond to that differently. I don't respond to that. Fun. Yeah, I don't respond to that any particular way. Like, I'm going to always be boisterous and foolish. That's just it. You know what I mean? Good. There's no reason for me to be subdued. Like, I have no plans on having children.
At least you're consistent.
Yeah, exactly. My thing is, as long as you know that I'm streamlined and I'm always a constant, then that's the most important. That's the most important thing.
And
like,
that's
shit,
why we're here.
Don't get the game fucked up. Like, I've been doing this my homeboy was like, you know what? I respect the fact that you work on a hit television show and you fucking research and then do a podcast every other week.
Yeah, I don't know how, because honestly, I'm like, y'all can go to hell. I gotta go back to work. And we're just gonna have to continue this next strike.
Not next strike.
We'll get back to this.
Well,
it's not gonna work.
Well,
Sorry.
but to me, I think it's important to understand, and we're early enough in the season where, you know, let me explain to you why I'm here. Like, shit, fuck it. This is therapeutic.
I see.
You know, this has turned into a lovely hobby. Yes, am I talking about what happened to other people that's fucked up? Sure. But it, you know, in addition to therapy, doing this podcast has been a lovely departure from me overthinking. And that's what I appreciate about it. That I'm able to put my energy into something. And it's not really creative, but like I do my own graphics. I make the snippets. I research the topics. You know, it feels a little creative. It's creative in the way that works for me. Because like I'm not going to sit down and write a whole 120-page script. But Luna, don't start this shit. You cut the shit. So, you know, but part of me is just like in that zone of like, this suits me. I get to incorporate true crime and booze. What's better than that?
You get me.
She was like, look here, you not playing with my toy, and I got a problem with that. So yeah, so here we are. We're here for episode 3 of I Swear to Drunk I'm Not God, and thank you for listening if you are. Fuck you if you're not. No, I'm just joking. I would never say that for real. But definitely follow me on TikTok because I do stupid shit there. My sister is on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as well. Y'all can, you know, go to my Instagram, I Swear to Drunk Podcast, to figure all that shit out because we're all tagged and everything.
I don't really be doing funny shit on my
Yeah,
Instagram.
Kirrah don't do shit.
I be using it for like, you know, weird
Luna,
shit.
Pussycat, please.
I use my Instagram for weird shit, like, you know, like today the Grinch dressed in, you know, BDSM. I use it for that type of shit. I'm really not even the type of person to continuously post my personal life, and I don't know why. Mostly because I'm just like, I don't be doing shit, and when I do, I'm not near my phone. You know, like I've been trying to do this thing where I'm not near my phone as much when I'm out because I think it's rude. Mm-hmm. But also I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be on my phone the whole time, why am I outside?
You know what? It's funny that you say that because, you know, during this strike, because I don't have any friends, the influx of me posting online has been also therapeutic because I get to like express myself. Yeah. And express myself in the loud, sometimes aggressive ways that I need to express myself. So I've found the value in repeatedly posting online. Yeah. That's for sure. And even so, it's not even just validation, because some people would think that you go online because, oh, you want people to see you in that cute outfit or this, that, and the other. Like, motherfuckers on the street tell me that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to go online for that. But I always felt like I was the type of person that needed to share things with people. Like, even if you think, like, I don't know if you know, but there was a period, you know this part, when we were living together, growing up, I used to journal a lot. And, then I started doing these things called vernals, which were personal. They were video journals. When I first got my first MacBook, and I still have them, these video journals, just talking about like what had happened to me that day. And I will record it. And it was kind of almost like a personal podcast, but it was only something that I will watch so I could see myself as an outsider.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I recorded.
I never knew about that.
Really? I guess how would you? Because that Vernals came after I moved back from LA in 2009. Oh, so you were, Luna just jumped on Kirrah's head. But you were still in LA. So I had, kind of shifted into Vernals, and it was a way for me to express myself and express what I was feeling in any given moment. And then later go back and see myself in that moment and be like, oh, Brittany, you kind of look stupid. What you just said sound dumb. You know what I mean? It was kind of like me giving myself the opportunity to see the whole elephant and not, you know, like Dave Chappelle said, it's wrinkly penis-like skin.
What?
Yeah, it's the concept of like seeing the forest for the trees. Like if you look at an elephant too close, all you can see is this wrinkly penis-like skin. But when you pull out and you look at it from a distance, then you see the entire elephant.
It's so full of shit.
He definitely said wrinkly penis-like skin on. I don't remember if it was what was it called? Bird Equanimity or whatever his Netflix specials were.
I don't watch stand up, remember?
Oh, yeah,
unless it's
right.
John Mulaney.
I love John Mulaney.
That's because comedians don't be funny.
Comedians be funny, but John Mulaney also had a terrible coke problem. And remember we watched that one last Christmas and we were like, damn, that shit was worse than we thought it was.
Oh,
like, dude, bro was fucked up.
I was just talking to my coworker about that today.
Yeah.
I was talking to him about it. And I was like, it was fucking dark.
It was dark as shit.
But I love dark humor.
Yeah. I'm like, God damn, bro, you sold like a $30,000 Rolex for like, what, like $6,000 because you needed some cocaine.
For literally coke.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you've all ever seen it, but John Mulaney was a writer for SNL. He did stand up. He's funny as fuck, but he had a terrible coke problem. And we watched this stand up he did last Christmas, actually, where he talked about how he had told his accountant or his financial manager not to give him any money because he had a serious drug problem. And so what he did to kind of circumvent his own boundary was he went and bought a Rolex because he knew it wasn't going to show up on his accountant's file that he was buying cocaine. Like it wasn't like an arbitrary random ass withdrawal. So he went to a jeweler somewhere in New York and bought a fucking $30,000 Rolex. Then, I mean, it was like fucking jonesing the entire time he was dealing with this sales associate, which is like, it just goes to show motherfuckers will just like sell anything to anybody.
Fucking idiots.
So what he ended up doing was like taking it to a pawn shop, brand new, same day, $30,000 Rolex. He took to a pawn shop and he fucking took it for $6,000. He let the dude give him $6,000 for it because he needed the cash for cocaine. That just goes to show how fucking real cocaine abuse or drug abuse in general is, because that is not a good investment.
Ballsy though.
It's like
very ballsy.
Yeah, because you technically just spent $30,000 on a watch that you only got $6,000 for. So you're just in the hole. Like there's, other than the cocaine, like there's no win. Like
and
there's
honestly,
no win.
Once the cocaine runs out,
then you're fucked. But then he also talks about how like all his friends got together. It was like Fred Armisen and like all these different people got together and like hosted an intervention. And he was like, damn, this was the most celebrity filled intervention in the world.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
All these, I'm fucked up.
Like, what did you just do? Squeeze the bottle?
Yeah. Hold on. I just tried to open my water bottle with my teeth and it wasted all of my lap.
Oh my God,
all right.
Literally right here.
Yeah. So season 2, episode 3. Okay. So today, thank you for coming for, I swear for 2, whatever. I swear to drunk I'm not God. But this is a hybrid, very similar to what we did with Bradley Sisters. Where I take 2 portions of, last year I did this thing called What the Fuck Did I Just Watch, which is where I like did a 30-minute episode on a documentary that I watched that I recommended that you watched. Last year we did a hybrid episode on the Bradley Sisters where I had kind of incorporated my regular I Swear to Drunk I'm Not God episode with What the Fuck Did I Just Watch. Because technically What the Fuck Did I Just Watch was supposed to happen on the off weeks, but I don't watch true crime every day. I've learned that I need to take breaks, especially now that I'm doing this shit. So this is going to be a hybrid. And what are we going to talk about, Kirrah? Murder rap.
What?
She doesn't know what that is.
Yay.
We be clubbing. So Murder Rap was a documentary. And you know what? Before I say that, the reason why I decided to do Murder Rap was because Kirrah knew a lot about the Puffy situation with Cassie.
Because I was following it on Twitter and I was unemployed.
She was unemployed. She's following this shit on Twitter. But like, I was intentionally doing this in light of the Puffy situation because I didn't, out of all the people that I know that fuck with true crime, I didn't feel like I knew enough people who had seen Murder Rap. I was like, why has nobody fucking seen this documentary? And I saw this documentary seven years ago, because I mean, it came out in 2015, but I probably saw it in 2016, and I was amazed at how few people actually saw it. And I will say, Murder Rap is available on Peacock, so if you want to watch it, it's available.
So
Feel
it's
free.
Murder, She Wrote.
Okay. Oh my God, I love Murder, She Wrote. Jessica Fletcher all day. Cabot Cove representing all day,
With the
every day.
motherfucking
The fucking CCs.
fucking
You hear me?
name.
We down here for the CC. Cabot Cove.
Okay, I was like, CC.
For the CC, straight up. Jessica Fletcher. Fucking JF.
Is she dead?
No.
Jessica Lansbury?
Angela. I'm a knock on wood, though, because sometimes when I say that, people die. I ain't gonna even hold you. Like the first 5 seasons of me being on this show, me and Sal would talk about specific people and then they would die. And I would be like, that just pissed me off. Like Diane Carroll was one of them. Like there was just so many different people that we would just be talking about. And then it would be like, oh, is she dead? Be like, no, she ain't dead. And then like 2 weeks later, she dies. It was like, oh, well. Anyway.
Right.
So anyway, Murder Rap.
How do you anyway that?
Let's just move on. Because I don't even want to do that to Mrs. Potts. Now, Murder Rap used to be available on Prime. It was available on Prime for a long time, and me and my mom had watched it, and then I have found myself, kind of in that situation where I was like, damn, like I feel like I know so much, but who the fuck? Why is nobody talking about this shit? About P. Diddy, about all of this shit. So, sorry. The documentary follows the investigation of an LAPD detective by the name of Greg Kading, who also wrote a book. He joined the case 9 years after Tupac's death. So that's what this is about. Tupac and Biggie.
I was listening to Ambitious as a Rider yesterday.
Oh, my Ambitious as a Rider. Oh, so you know what's funny about this too, because I just did Yummy.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And Tupac was such a big part of the Yummy situation that I was listening to the music and I was like, then the Puffy shit happened after I did the Yummy situation that I was like, yo, I'm gonna fucking do it on Murder Rap once and for all. Murder Rap has been on my list since last year. I've just been pushing it.
You were planning to do it too.
Yeah, I just kept pushing it. So, but my favorite song from Tupac. Pussy and paper is poetry, power and pistol. What do you say? Plotting and murdering motherfuckers for they get you. What's that? If I die tonight, that's on Tonight's the Night I Get In Some Shit. That's me against that's Me Against the World.
Oh, that's why.
And
I
that's
like All
what
Eyes on Me better. Girl,
you slipping. Because I'm gonna tell you, when he gets to the end of that verse and oh God. Tonight's the night I get in some shit. What else? I'm too drunk to even think about what else is on the album. So anyway, but I was listening to that album and I was like, you know what? This would be a great segue from Yummy. Because we were already talking about Tupac. Well, we didn't talk about him in depth, but we talked about Tupac a little bit because he did the interview. And he also dedicated Young Niggas on the Me Against the World album to Yummy.
Oh.
Because, he did Me Against the World when he was in jail.
Yeah.
Now, anyway, back to this. So Greg Kading, he joins the case 9 years after Tupac's murder. He was handed over 94-inch binders.
No.
Filled with evidence and documents pertaining to the murders of both Tupac and Biggie. No. So he's coming in relatively fucking late. Right?
The limit does not exist.
Now, let's first talk about the inciting moment. Now, in the early 1990s, Tupac wait. I'm sorry, y'all. What are we drinking? We're drinking a Sidecar.
You would know better than me. You made it.
We're drinking a Sidecar. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this real quick and then I'll move on. I ain't even gonna hold it up. But we're drinking a Sidecar. We're drinking it's lemon. I actually put a little lavender in it. I didn't put much in it, but I put a little lavender simple syrup in it to sweeten it up. But it has Grand Marnier, which, as you know, Grand Marnier has cognac in it. So instead of using a traditional triple sec or Cointreau, I decided to use Grand Marnier because that's what I got. And it has cognac in it. So we're about to be fucked up. So it's cognac, bourbon, lemon juice, that is, and lavender syrup. Shake that shit up. Pour it in a coupe's glass. Boom.
Actually very tasty.
It is. It's fire. I put a little sparkling lemon in Kirrah's because, I didn't want her to get too drunk.
I gotta work.
I gotta work too, but not until 11.
Oh, I don't work until 1.
Oh, you'll be all right then.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Now, but you gotta drive home, which I don't want you to be like blasted.
Oh, sure.
In the early 90s, Tupac should have been like enjoying the fruits of his labor. Because he was born in like 1971. So this dude would have been like in his 20s. Now we know about Tupac. So I'm not even gonna dive into who the fuck Tupac is. If you don't know who Tupac is,
shit, man.
Tupac.
He was fine though. He was fine. I'll give him that. He said, "I just don't give a fuck." Juice was good.
Juice, but that All Eyes on Me version of Tupac, that Death Row version of Tupac,
it was dark.
Was a different type of fine.
It was a doozy.
Tupac got to a point where I was just like, oh my God, there's no other person out there that looks as good as you. Like, he was just fine as fuck. Now, so I'm going to stick to the crime. We know Tupac was a prolific artist. His range stretched from music to acting, but he was deeply troubled because he grew up in an environment that was militant Black Panther. We know who his mother was. Tupac was incredibly vocal about inequities in the community and a host of other cultural and political issues. But on November 30th, which tomorrow, this is like the 5th time this has happened on this fucking podcast where I accidentally, girl, my synchronicity is crazy. November 30th, 1994, Tupac was apparently offered $7,000 by this guy named James Roseman, aka Jimmy the Henchman, to feature on a song for an artist by the name of Little Sean. And this was at Quad Studios in Times Square in New York. Tupac was to be there anyway because he was recording tracks with a different artist. But when Tupac arrived with Tretch from Naughty by Nature. If you don't know who Naughty by Nature is, hip hop hooray, ho, hey, ho, or you down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Tretch, he was there with Tretch and 2 other guys when 3 men showed up, robbed and beat them at gunpoint, and then shot Tupac 5 times. Cool. Now, it just so happens that Puffy and Biggie happened to be in the building that day. They were also there. And that led Pac to believe that the shooting was orchestrated and that he had been set up. So just weeks after leaving the hospital, Pac went to court to face charges for sexual assault. Because in 1993, 2 men forced a woman to give them oral in Pac's hotel room. And Pac was eventually acquitted of 3 counts of sodomy and gun charges, but was instead charged with 2 counts of first-degree sexual abuse for, quote, forcibly touching a woman's buttocks. How does one go to prison for forcibly touching a woman's buttocks? But okay. On December 23rd, Pac turned himself in while he was still in recovery after being shot 5 times at Quad Studios. He felt betrayed as fuck, considering one of the 2 men charged with him issued a misdemeanor plea and was never incarcerated. So from there, Pac felt everyone is against him. He was like, fuck all of y'all. And thinking that the man that was charged, who went by the name of Haitian Jack, was also setting him up. So in his head, everybody's fucking setting him up.
Anyone named Haitian Jack is probably setting you up, though. That's not really someone who I'd be like, hey, Haitian Jack would never set me up.
That's like Jimmy the Screwdriver, Angeliotti. You'll be like, yeah, he probably did it. No.
I'm like, what? He probably did it himself.
Right. So by 1995, by 1995, after this whole situation, Suge Knight, as we know, dissed all of the East Coast while he was on the East Coast at the Source Awards in New York. And the Source Awards, if you don't know what that is, was a ghetto savoir-faire hosted by one of the biggest hip hop magazines, The Source, at the time. And we've all heard the clip, but if you haven't, this is what it was.
And one other thing I like to say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
So, Pac went to Rikers January 1995. He was sentenced to 18 months to 4.5 years, and by March, he transferred to Dannemora. If you don't know anything about Dannemora is a shit show. And if I'm not mistaken, either Albert Fish ended up there or Carl Panzram did. One of them bitches ended up there.
Telling.
Now, he apparently gets married, which I didn't know, but only for a little while. And later, they had it annulled. So he gets bailed out in October of 1995. By who, you may be asking? Suge Knight. Under the agreement that he would produce 3 records under Suge Knight's new label, Death Row.
Why you gotta bully people to work with you?
Period. Now, this is also where Tupac's rape rumors came from. Because I remember this from the late 90s as well, hearing about how Tupac had been raped in prison. Now, with the type of personality that Tupac had, this isn't good. I mean, this was either an odd coincidence that Biggie and Puffy were at the studio, or it was on purpose. Because later, Biggie released a track in 1995 titled Who Shot Ya?, which had a colorful lyric in the song recited repeatedly by Puffy that says, quote, "As we proceed, who shot ya? To give you what you need, 95 motherfuckers, East Coast motherfuckers," and then in the background it says, "Who shot ya? West Coast motherfuckers, us. West Coast motherfuckers."
I forgot about that song.
That September 1995.
Listen to that in the gym tomorrow.
Don't, girl, and wait till we get to hit him up. Okay. Now, that September 1995, there was a shooting involving both Suge and Puffy. That happened in Atlanta. Now, Suge blamed the shooting on Puffy. Suge's bodyguard, by the name of Jake Robles, was killed. In hindsight, we know that Tupac was pretty good at taking things too motherfucking far. And pretty much responding to everything with emotion is like his thing. So Hit 'Em Up should have come as no surprise to anybody. Hit 'Em Up featured Outlaws, which was an obvious diss to Biggie and Bad Boy Records. So he has a quote that says, "Grab your Glocks when you see Tupac. Call the cops when you see Tupac. Who shot me, but your punks didn't finish. Now you're about to feel the wrath of a menace. Nigga, I hit 'em up."
Oh, I used to love rap beefs.
First of all, I hate to say this. I don't hate to say this. I love Tupac. I wasn't that big of a Biggie fan, but I did love Dead Wrong featuring Eminem, the Big and the Strong.
Oh, I like Biggie a lot.
7 different levels of devil worshiping horse's head, human soft. Yeah, that whole shit. So, but when Tupac came out with this, I was like, Hit 'Em Up is the only diss that I feel like is equivalent to No Vaseline by Ice Cube. Because No Vaseline was brutal.
That was intense.
No Vaseline was like, why do I feel like I've been dissed? I'm not even in NWA. You know, like Tupac, when he did Hit 'Em Up, when he was like, when he says at the end, I'm going to make sure, something about my fofo blow, I'm going to make sure all y'all kids don't grow.
God damn it. And niggas would just be in the studio frowned up like
that's what's so funny.
turn on the fucking track.
That's what's so funny now is that people make all these Instagram comedy videos of that moment in that song where it's like, wow, Tupac, we didn't know that you were going to take it that far. Like, the fuck? But when he says, but your punks didn't finish, now you're about to feel the wrath of a menace, nigga, I hit him up. I was like, wait a goddamn minute. Now, I'm sure it didn't come as any surprise to anybody who knew him either. I mean, he was very vocal about Puffy and Biggie being responsible for him being shot. Like, he was just open about that. He was like, them niggas did it. It had to be them.
And we like, turn that shit up.
He's
like, these niggas
bang.
Shot me.
We're like, cool, but this song is
This shit busting. Turn it up.
Run
it back.
Run it back. Put it on repeat, actually. Now, at this point, Pac is out. He signed to Death Row, and at the same time, Suge is out there being Suge, which is fucking terrorizing
Just
people. He's like the fucking he's
big
like
nigga.
He's just a big nigga, just Osama bin Laden and niggas all over the place.
Scary too.
He's scary as
He's
shit.
so menacing. It's just like you look at him. It's like, nigga, you alive?
It's crazy to think
Yeah.
about how he was fucking people in the ass because there's a gay component to Suge, but well, you know, whatever. Now, he had apparently been on the hunt for anyone from Puppy. That's the sidecar. Any anybody from Puffy's family in LA, and in the process attacked Puffy's associate, which was a gentleman by the name of Anthony Bell, who later reported it. Okay, so several months later, in July 1996, Mob Piru by the name of Trayvon Lane was robbed at a mall in LA by some Crips. And one of the Southside Crips was this guy by the name of Orlando Anderson. Remember his name. Now, he robbed him of his death row necklace, and allegedly Puffy was offering $5,000 to any Crip that stole the necklace. Because apparently this necklace was going to be shown off in a video, which was that's a thing in hip hop, but excuse me.
My chain.
Yeah, exactly. But this was also something that was expressed to the police by an informant. So take that however you need to. So fast forward though to Vegas. On September 1996, Tupac is attending a Mike Tyson fight with Suge Knight. And of course, after the fight, an actual fight breaks out, which is like, in the casino of the MGM Grand. Orlando Anderson is conveniently in the casino and is attacked by Tupac and his entourage. They beat the shit out of this dude. Now, Suge was also there. He was there throwing punches and kicking people with his big ass.
He just wanted to fight.
He
said, I'm mad.
And when Tupac gets back to the hotel, he explains to his girlfriend, Kadada, who is Quincy Jones's daughter, Kadada, Rashida Jones's sister. He basically says to his girlfriend, hey, you should stay behind because we just had this fight at the casino and it may get a little dangerous at the club. So you just chill out. So the plan is to go to Suge's club. Suge had a Vegas club called 662. They were hosting a charity event. Tupac was supposed to perform there. Mike Tyson was supposed to show up there. So there were really no secrets as to where Tupac was supposed to be that night. En route, Pac and Suge get pulled over for loud music. So they run into two girls, and apparently they invite these girls to the club. Really, it was Pac that invited these girls to the club, which is like petty. I see what the fuck you just did. You just told your girlfriend to stay at the motherfucking hotel when you just invited two random bitches to the club. That's fucked up. Yeah. I'm just gonna say that. But according to Jada Pinkett, it's possible with Pac. I mean, he was fine, and he was rich, and he was young.
Do we really think old girl really gave a fuck?
No, at all. I mean, she probably didn't. She was also from a wealthy family herself. She was Quincy Jones's daughter. Like, who the fuck cares for real?
Don't look at Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones ain't gonna help you.
Quincy Jones ain't gonna help you. So, meanwhile, they told the two girls to join the caravan because they had security guys, and so they were all kind of in line on the street. So they were like, hey, join the caravan and we'll all go to 662 at the same time. But then the girls had decided, you know what? We ain't even them type of bitches. We gonna go ahead and we'll just meet them there. Because why are we going in this slow ass caravan if we don't have to. That's kind of like what their vibe was. Now, at the end of the day, the caravan was just overwhelming to them. They're like, we're not fucking celebrities. Like, we could just go to the club and like just meet them at the club, which is some shit that I would do because I'm like, I ain't got time to be cruising in no fucking club. Like, you are not JFK, my dude. Like,
why
chill.
a caravan for the club?
Now they were on the right side of Suge's car, which that's why we're drinking the sidecar.
Uh-oh, she's chewing the wire.
What?
She chewed the wire.
Chewed it like completely?
She got one piece.
Can you hear yourself?
No, I can hear myself.
Oh, well then that's all that matters. Let's just just wrap it here so she doesn't get a hold of it again. But that's also why we're drinking the sidecar. There was a period of time where I tried to theme drinks with the episode.
I was gonna say, is it because Biggie got shot in the side of his car?
Well, they all got shot because somebody pulled up to the side of the car. So anyway, they where was I? So they were on the right of Suge's car. Behind those two girls was a white 4-door Cadillac that pulls up. And this male comes out as the girls are pulling off because the light changes. This male shoots 9 bullets into Tupac's car.
Sweet.
So the girls try to pull away even faster, but they end up because both cars are making a right turn. The girls end up almost colliding into that white Cadillac when they're trying to make a right on the intersection. Just let her do it to keep her distracted. Now, there was this guy named Frank Alexander who was a part of the security detail who was also dead, surprisingly, because nobody survives.
He just so happened to be dead.
He gets out to help Suge and Tupac, but Suge peels the fuck off, whips a Yui, and leaves Frank Alexander just like in the middle of a fucking intersection. Like, what the fuck?
Imagine being a nigga that big and leaving people.
Literally leaving them, and not only leaving them, but he hit a median and blew out all his tires. Why? Because Suge also got shot. Tupac wasn't the only person to get shot, but the security detail pursued that white Cadillac and tried to shoot and had a kind of a mini shootout with that white Cadillac, but the white Cadillac got away. Now, on September 13, 1996, Tupac would succumb to his injuries after 6 days of the doctors trying to save his life. Also, at the hospital is a man by the name of Kevin Hackey, who is a part of Suge's security team. He walks in acting like he's an FBI agent, which is just like, I'm not going to get into that any further. It's just weird as fuck. But then he's eventually told to leave. Now, Orlando, if you remember him, was immediately the suspect, given the fight in the casino, because they're thinking, well, this kid just got beat up by Tupac and then all of a sudden Tupac's dead. Obviously, this was retaliation. Well, the Bloods are thinking immediately, because Suge is a Blood, that the Crips did this. They 100% did this. So they agree that they should avenge the death. They have like this fucking meeting in a park somewhere in fucking Compton. And it's very Blade. Stephen Dorff, Deacon Frost, and fucking Blade meeting in a park.
What the fuck?
But it's game time. So at this point, Suge is in prison. Now, Suge's in prison because that casino fight led to a parole violation.
Well, usually.
Typically, especially when you're already a criminal. And for some strange reason, Puffy felt with Pac dead and Suge in prison, it should be safe to go to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. No. Because at the end of the day, the Bloods were seeking revenge regardless, because Suge is impacted by this. Suge got shot. He didn't get killed, but he got shot.
Duh, no?
Yeah, like duh.
Like if your man's locked up and, you know, he got people on the outside, and then the person that got him locked up comes to the state, they probably gonna drag your ass. Yeah, there's a few people that's probably gonna get shot. And, you know, because this isn't just a beef amongst moguls, this is a gang war. Yeah.
And so on March 9th, 1997, Biggie left with his entourage to go to an after party. Diddy traveled. She looked like she peeing. Diddy, we just gonna let it
Just
happen.
being cute.
Diddy traveled in another car, but Biggie was in the car with Lil C's from, oh my God.
Crush on you?
Yes, but the group, Mafia. Oh my God. Not 3 6. What? Oh my God.
Oh, fuck. What was it?
Oh, I'm so drunk. How do I not remember what the fuck Lil C's the group was that Lil C's was
Lil C's, Lil Kim.
oh, Junior Mafia.
Junior
God
Mafia.
damn. So anyway, so Lil C's was in the car with Biggie, and then one of his associates was one of the and a driver. So Biggie's car stops at a red light. When a dark colored Impala pulls up and shoots
Always an
into,
Impala.
of course, and shoots into Biggie's SUV. Now Biggie was hit 4 times. They tried to rush him to Cedars, which is crazy listening to the 911 tape, because they like, we from New York, we don't know where the fuck we going.
And they like, use your iPhone.
They like, no, none of that exists.
Use Waze.
So they try to rush him to Cedars, where they perform surgery, but he dies at 1:15 that morning. And during the investigation, though, it became apparent to them that everybody in the hood has a dark Impala.
Well, yes.
It's hard to kind of track this vehicle down.
Which is why I think they stopped making them.
Probably.
Niggas.
Now, they still make Impalas, don't they?
No.
Oh, Eugene Deal, who was Puffy's bodyguard, spots a man dressed like the Nation of Islam. So he's dressed like a black Muslim. He saw this motherfucker.
Oppression is up, my brother.
Yeah.
I should just watch the Boondocks.
You should, because, it references everything.
Clearly.
And when they were at the hotel, Eugene Deal was like, I saw a dude posted up at the hotel dressed like the Nation of Islam. So he would later say that this is the person that shot Big. And this was recorded on an emergency call, too, because Lil C's described him as the person dressed as the Nation of Islam. Literally is like, that nigga was dressed like the Nation of Islam. And Lil C's was also sure that the car was dark green. Now, the investigators. So there was this man by the name of Russell Poole, and there was also a black officer by the name of Kelly Cooper. They were assigned to the case in 1997. Now, Russell Poole was an LAPD detective who investigated the Biggie murder. And Poole also investigated the killing of this officer by the name of Kevin Gaines by a LAPD officer named Frank Liga on March 18th, 1997. But after that, in 1999, he retired and he formed a private agency, but then he would later die in 2015. But Poole was saying that LA cops were involved, and it was a massive cover up to keep from the city having to pay out a wrongful death suit that was being pursued by Biggie Smalls' mom for the total of $400 million. Okay, I figured. $400 million. The lawsuit for the wrongful death was something that they were not wanting to pay. And that was literally the only reason why they wanted to investigate this murder. Because in their eyes, this was some gang shit. This was some rapper gang shit. Yeah. We're not about to sit up here and spend all our resources on a bunch of niggas who decided to kill each other one day. Like, we're just not. Mm. And to them, where it became a bigger issue was the fact that Biggie Smalls' mom, when Russell Poole had said that an LAPD officer was possibly involved, she issued a $400 million lawsuit, which was the value of Biggie's career. So she was like, y'all bitches owe me $400. You just killed $400 million. You just killed my son. So in order to not pay that, they wanted investigators to say that there were no LAPD officers involved. That was the goal. Now, LA has to solve this case simply to avoid paying out the money. And there were rumors that there was this guy by the name of David Mack, who was a police officer, and Amir Muhammad. They were the two people that murdered Biggie. Poole was able to actually connect the guy, Kevin Gaines, who was murdered by an undercover police officer who was killed. So Kevin Gaines was also a police officer who was murdered by an undercover police officer because they had some weird beef on the street
your own
and
people, for real.
they didn't even fucking know, right? So Kevin Gaines was killed by this dude. He was investigating that murder. So in his eyes, he's like, wait a minute, but why am I able to connect this police officer to Suge? He was able to connect him to Suge. Gaines was dating Suge's wife and was literally in her car when he was murdered by that police officer. So then there's the Rampart scandal, which I can't remember. I think I may have mentioned it in the Eazy-E episode or the Lloyd Avery episode, but the Rampart scandal was basically like LA Confidential. LA has always had an issue with police corruption, as most big cities do. But they have also taken, great lengths to cover shit up, kind of very similar to what we talked about with the Wineville chicken coop murders with Angelina Jolie's movie, The Changeling, where they were like, we can't take no more hits. This bitch gonna have to take this boy whether it's her son or not. That is a history that is way deep. That didn't start in the 80s. That shit happened in the 30s, in the 40s and in the 50s. The motherfuckers always been on this shit. So there was this thing called the Rampart scandal, where they were investigating all of these different corrupt police officers. And there was this Bank of America bank robbery that involved David Mack. He was investigating that. And that payout for David Mack ended up being $700,000. So this police officer made a shit ton of money during this robbery. And you can go back to either the Eazy-E or the Lloyd Avery episode. One of those episodes I had talked about the Rampart thing, and you could kind of have an idea of what that was really about. But David Mack's connection to this guy by the name of Amir Muhammad was kind of only given to the police by a jailhouse snitch. So
okay,
it's kind of hard to tell whether or not it's true, because he didn't really know any of these people, and he didn't really know the Amir Muhammad dude, but he said that the name felt like a nation of it. Just leave it the fuck alone. She's probably eating shit.
No, she's about to poop. Sorry. Shit. So
he figured it was a nation of, I'm sorry, I just took a handful of Gardettos to the face. He figured it was a Nation of Islam dude. Now, this was not really true, because he didn't know that man. And Amir Muhammad ended up being this guy by the name of Harry Billups. He was accused of murder, but he was just a mortgage broker.
As a mortgage broker, I get why you'd be committing murder.
Yeah, what? Now, he had identified. Now, the thing is with Harry Billups is he had been identified again. He was identified years later, but at that point, the witness accounts had already been tainted because Billups' picture had appeared in the paper twice. So, of course, you're going to get a motherfucker being like, oh, that's him. It's like, it wasn't really him, though. Now, turns out Russell Poole was wrong. So then they put the kibosh on the investigation. Years later, Greg Kading was added to the investigation in 2006. He was in charge of the task force, which was called Wrap It Up. This was a task force with the FBI and the DEA, which means it was federal. Ew. And Rico. That was a good thing. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That was a good thing for them, because then they had more resources and they had the ability to pursue RICO. Now, RICO is the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's a statute that was created for the Italian mob originally. But basically, that moment in The Dark Knight when Rachel comes in, when she's interrogating Lau, and they want to hit him with the RICO statute, and she says, well, if you charge one conspirator, you can charge them all. That's what RICO is.
Or what Young Thug is currently experiencing.
Period. Yeah.
Because he finna go to prison.
Yeah.
Hope not. Free Thug.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know their life, but if he did some criminal shit, he gotta go to jail.
But I do think hood shit is cool. Okay. That's what people say when they just randomly come to town and want to go to 63rd.
Period.
You
just want to go to O Block just to go?
Because I heard that's where Chief Keef never be hanging out. Go to hell, you stupid bitch. Okay. You stupid bitch. Mm-hmm. Anyway, continue.
Some people need to get out of the hood. You trying to go there? That's like T.I.'s dumbass, ugly ass son. That kid is ugly as fuck.
I mean, tiny ugly.
She is.
Sorry.
They both look like Oompa Loompas, and he in particular looks like a goddamn mutant.
He looked like the final boss in a mark.
He's the final level.
He's
in
like
a video game, in a shitty video game. Okay, so they ended up with 5 suspects in the Tupac case. Trayvon, he wouldn't talk. Fuck it. A man named Michael Duro would also be questioned since he was with Orlando Anderson. He was like collecting his debt. He was collecting his debt with Anderson, and 2 other people were killed. He was charged with all 3, of course, but he would later offer up information saying that Suge hired the Crips to kill Biggie. He was caught scamming to transfer to a better facility, so he can't be trusted. And then he eventually went on to do a life sentence in Pelican Bay. So this is a band of misfits.
Pelican, fly, Pelican.
Pelican. And then Orlando Anderson, of course. Then there was also a Crip by the name of Corey Edwards, who was at both murder scenes. He was at Biggie's party and he was in Vegas when Tupac was shot. He wouldn't talk. And then there was Keefe D. Now, Keefe D
he don't talk.
Keefe D talked. Keefe D is Orlando's uncle. He was in Vegas and he was at Biggie's party and he had a Chevy motherfucking Impala. Now, the rumor was that Puffy owed $1 million to the Crips, and they believed it was for the Tupac hit. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is a Southside Crip. He is a shot caller. He was interviewed, but immediately got a lawyer because he was already being investigated by the DEA. So they set Keefe D up on a drug deal to hold him, to get him to talk. Felt a lot like entrapment to me, but apparently this is very legal. Keefe said that he was invited to a party by Diddy. He has to talk to them at this point to avoid prison. So he decided to cooperate, but nothing he says can be used against him unless he gets caught in a lie. And if he gets caught in a lie, not only does what he says regarding one crime applies against him. Who the fuck is that? P. Diddy?
Fucking Diddy.
That feels very Diddy. He got some nice quads though. He gets caught in a lie, which is called a proffer agreement, where they basically hit him with like this PCP drug charge. And they said, if we catch you in a lie, not only will we get you on the PCP drug charge, we will also get you on the other charge, the charge that we're actually questioning you about. So we suggest you tell us the fucking truth. Keefe D apparently approaches Diddy at this party with Biggie, and he's let in because he already knows Diddy. And Diddy tells him that the feds are all over him. And so Keefe D tried to offer more security, considering Biggie is in LA during a beef, and after being accused of being associated with Tupac's death, the Crips are thinking, you can use the security, so why not offer it? It'll, motherfuckers can get some money. Now, Keefe D was being brought in to talk about Biggie, but what he really had information on was Tupac, the death of Tupac. Oh, she tearing up that box. Just let her do it. In Keefe's 1998 interview, he talks about how he told Orlando to stand down and that Suge was actually the person that had Pac killed because he was planning to leave death row, which is bullshit. Even one of death row security, which is this guy by the name of Reggie Wright Jr., who was also a motherfucking corrupt ass cop, and so was his father, said that it would be dumb for them to shoot into a vehicle to kill Pac with Suge's big ass right next to him, because there's just like, you're going to hit Suge. Like, what the fuck? So Keefe started to talk about how he met Diddy. He said he apparently met him in 1993 through a man by the name of Eric Zip Martin. Now, Zip is also from New York, so his relationship is confirmed from several sources as being a link between Puffy and the Southside Crips. And Keefe D had also been spotted by Lil C's, and Keefe D had what seemed to be a pretty solid relationship with Puffy. Because the way Keefe D described it, because I watched Keefe D's interview with Vlad, was that Keefe felt like it was one of those things where Puffy figured, if I'm beefing with Suge and Suge is a blood, then I should probably groom and be affiliated with Crips. Not that Puffy is a gangbanger, because he isn't. But
no.
But I will say this about Puffy, and me and my mom just talked about this too. Puffy's father worked with Frank Lucas.
Oh.
Puffy's father was for drugs. Puffy's father is a drug dealer who was murdered when Puffy was 2.
Oh, that's why he act like that.
So Puffy comes from something. So meanwhile, Puffy was in Anaheim when he made an announcement saying that he would give anything for them dudes' heads. And this was in a room full of Crips, which Keefe D was like, that's dumb, because now you got all these niggas that's about to kill, somebody randomly. Kill. Murder. Now, Puffy was scared after the Suge bodyguard killing in Atlanta, but he was really scared after Tupac's killing too. But Greg Kading knew that this was going to be hard to pursue, because if they really pursued Puffy, this was just going to lead to a shit show of lawsuits. The city was already trying to avoid the $400 million lawsuit from Biggie's mom. They didn't need any more lawsuits. So they weren't about to just go out on a limb and just start accusing Puffy of shit. According to Keefe D, they met at a deli. The deli was called Greenblatt's on like Sunset or some shit. And they had a conversation about getting rid of Suge, and they agreed to do it for $1 million. But Keefe wasn't...
Ain't that how much they charge to get rid of Pac?
Well, but here it is. Keefe wasn't concerned about getting it done, though, because Keefe confirmed, he was like, you can get a nigga to do this for like 15 grand, but if you're willing to put $1 million ticket on this, then okay. Keefe even confirmed that even 50 grand was just like more than enough. Puffy said the number, and I believe that the $1 million was $500 apiece. Suge and Pac. The hit was for Suge and Pac. Not just Pac.
But they only got Pac.
It
takes a full clip to get rid of Suge.
You need a bazooka.
Uzi.
To get that big nigga. Okay. So, I'm sorry. I keep eating these chips because I'm drunk.
You just see the way I'm looking at you.
The legit chewing in this mic. Now, there was a Crip informant that confirmed the contract. Keefe goes to Vegas in a rented, probably because she's a psycho. Keefe goes to Vegas in a rented Buick. Luna, why she sound like Chewbacca?
Why she sound like
So Keefe goes to Vegas in a rented Buick, and his entourage, Orlando.
They ain't got no Buicks just on standby for when they gotta kill a nigga.
Well, they always took rented vehicles to Vegas. Okay, we got technical difficulties. We got this though.
The technical difficulties is a dog.
Is a dog. So the Buick. So they rented this Buick. Him in Orlando, they arrived that Saturday with an entourage in a white Cadillac as well. So Keefe had a Buick and Orlando and them had a Cadillac. Now, Tupac beat up the person that was contracted to kill him.
I know that's right.
He didn't know that though.
Oh. He's a little...
The casino beating was retaliation for the chain snatching that happened at the mall. That's what Tupac thought he was beating his ass for. Or he didn't know, allegedly, that Puffy had a contract out for him, and Orlando, who is a Southside Crip, was getting in on that contract so he can get that young meal. He didn't know that.
This is messy.
It was just coincidence. Now, it just happened that way. I mean, they looked at it as the perfect opportunity. Zip provided a 40 cal Glock And they knew where Tupac was going to be. I mean, they knew he was going to be at the 662 Club. Tupac was heading to the 662 Club. This was an actual club appearance with Mike Tyson. This was supposed to be a post Mike Tyson fight charity event at Suge's club. And they were like, you know what, fuck it. We're going to post up at the 662 Club. We just going to wait in the parking lot. At some point, they just decided to get some liquor. I mean, they were like, you know what? Let's go get some liquor real quick. So some of the Crips that were in the car, they started to get a little nervous. There were 4 Crips in the car. There was Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. There was Orlando Anderson, Terrence T. Brown, and DeAndre Smith. And they were all able to confirm that all 4 were in Vegas, even though T. Brown denied it. He can deny all he wants, but then they later found after he was arrested, he had some postcards. I was like, what kind of gangster buys postcards?
Yeah, postcards. What was he gonna do? Hand them out? Fuck. He
He's like, I'm gonna send some postcards.
He placed them over the eyes of every dead body.
He's like, I'm gonna send some postcards to my granny. I'm in Vegas.
Sincerely yours.
Right. So the girls, you remember the 2 girls. Now the girls,
what were their names?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I didn't write that down.
Okay.
The girls were what got their attention.
Ooh, somebody sent me the blind items on Diddy, who was apparently trying to get rid of Kim Porter's Wikipedia page.
Okay. We'll talk about that another day. Because that's a whole other. And then we also need to talk about how I ran into a rabbit hole about Aaliyah, Jay-Z, and Dame Dash, and it was crazy. And mama thought it was bullshit. And I told her, I was like, you know, I really think that you should just like hear me out and not take it personally just because you like the Black Album.
But only the Black Album, for real. I'm willing to hear because I think it's fun. I love the conspiracy theories.
Let me tell you something. This girl put this TikTok shit together and it was good as fuck. And I called mama. I was high and I was drunk. And I was like, I got to tell you about
and
this
you
shit.
like dude from Always Sunny in Philadelphia that's pointing at that big ass fucking map.
Period.
Have you ever seen that meme?
Mm-mm.
Of him like fucking drugged out, basically. Pointing at this meme like conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah. That was me. Mm-hmm. That was me because literally she was just, I was like, Mom, are you really taking Jay-Z's side because you like the Black Album?
Because you like Big Pimpin'?
No. She like, justify my thug.
Me too.
And you know, but I told her, I said, my shit is Lucifer, Lucifer, son of the morning.
I mean, honestly, I like all Jay-Z.
I like Jay-Z too, but that don't mean he ain't a piece of shit.
First of all, he's a Sagittarius man.
Well, facts.
So
I just got out of
10,
abusive relationship with one.
POS.
Yeah. So, okay. So, anyway, let's move on. Now, the girls were yelling at Pac. They were like, Pac, Pac. And, of course, Pac being Pac, he was
they
hanging.
Were like, what?
Pac, Pac.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, Pac being Pac, he's hanging out the fucking sunroof, which is like, duh, it's Pac. He was like Joker.
Literally.
So they pull up to the passenger side, of course, of Suge's BMW, and Orlando takes the gun out. And even though Dre was in the best position, Orlando takes the gun, leans over Dre, and he shoots into Pac's car. Now, Keefe said that Suge looked him in the face and they knew who he was. Suge always knew who the shooters were, but Suge never talked because, you know, gang shit.
God.
He's never going to talk.
He's on such a pedestal.
He's on a pedestal, but also I will say this about Suge. Suge's not talking. He ain't talking about shit. Talking.
But it's like, oh, he looks you in the eye. He automatically knows who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, no, he was saying that because he was like, Suge saw me. So if you ask Suge who killed him and Suge say he don't know, that's bullshit because he looked at me. Keefe D knows Suge.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing. But it's the hood code of we don't speak on this shit. It's gang shit. Regardless of it being blood and Crip, it's gang shit. We not about to talk to the police about this shit and have people arrested. Yeah, he in prison like a motherfucker. Suge is. But that's because he ran over that dude. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
That's he went to Target and ran over that dude.
Nah, he was just angry over that. He was angry over I think it was Straight Outta Compton, and ran over that dude. Yeah, the movie, because you know all them niggas from Compton just think that movie was bullshit.
I'm sure.
I'm sure it was kind of bullshit. That's called creative license.
But it's called a movie, no?
Yeah, it's also a movie. Okay, so there was also a 1997 informant that said that Puffy issued a contract on Pac, and so this corroborated the Keefe D story. There was a second shooting between Suge's crew and the shooters, but they lost the Cadillac. So Keefe expresses how funny he thought it was that the ambulance pulled up alongside them right after they shot Pac and Suge. So the ambulance was like right there, and they were like, we just shot them niggas and this ambulance is right here. He thought that was funny.
How convenient.
Sociopath. So Eugene Deal, who is P. Diddy's bodyguard, was able to confirm the details, but he also said that it was hearsay. The people in the car were also confirmed by an informant. And Dre was later, who's not Dr. Dre, but the DeAndre Smith, was later bragging about killing Tupac, even though he was the one who said he didn't want no part of it in the car. And Orlando took his gun and shot Tupac instead. So he went back to the hood and started bragging about it.
Okay.
Now, later we would find out that Orlando spent a lot of time saying that he killed Tupac as well. But he then goes on to TV and says that he didn't do it and he would be arrested, but there wasn't enough evidence against him to convict. So at that point, I mean, because at the end of the day, you interviewing all these street dudes, all these people start lying. Street dudes don't usually snitch. It just ends up being a mess.
I killed Tupac. No, I killed Tupac.
No, I did.
I killed Tupac.
Now, they would learn in 1997 interview with Russell Poole that Orlando and Corey Edwards were likely suspects in the original incident of Suge's bodyguard and his friend Robles being killed. Now, plot twist. Suge offers Orlando $60,000 to say that he was not beating him at the casino, but he was helping him because he was trying to avoid the parole violation that would lead to Suge spending 9 years in prison. Nice. So he basically offered Tupac's killer $60,000 to lie and say that we didn't beat your ass at the casino. I was trying to help you. Keefe D was not happy about this and felt that Orlando was selling out because, if I'm not mistaken, Orlando took that deal. So, Keefe D ends up telling the police that he met up with Zip, and apparently Puffy contacted Zip after the Tupac shooting asking, was this us? They confirmed it was them. Keefe D said he never said anything, so I'm assuming it was Zip. Faith also called and asked, was this us? It was them. So they talked to Zip about getting the money. And according to Keefe D, this was not to be discussed over the phone. 6 weeks later, Keefe D hits up Zip asking about the money. Zip claimed he never received the money and didn't talk to them again. One of the associates confirmed that Puffy gave Zip $500,000 and Zip kept the money. One of Keefe D confirmed Big was never involved in any planning with Tupac. Big was a fucking innocent bystander and all this shit, which would make sense that they only got $500K because Tupac was the only person that died. Suge did not die.
Yeah.
So the police tried to use Keefe D to get Zip by setting up another sting like the way that they got Keefe D. But Zip didn't fall for that shit. Also, because he was dying of cancer. And so he gave them another contact, which was like his nephew or some shit. But it was really just a test to see what Keefe D was on. And Zip had apparently gone and bought a nightclub with that $500,000. And Keefe D ain't never seen none of that money.
Oh.
Now, we told you a lot. So I'm gonna spare you the Biggie sting because you can go and watch the documentary yourself. This is supposed to be like a kind of half in, half out, but I'm giving you a lot of research. The investigation was ultimately about getting from under the lawsuit so they could be vindicated. The Los Angeles could be vindicated and that the LAPD would be vindicated. The main suspect would get murdered himself. So on May 29, 1998, Anderson and the Southside associate by the name of Michael Duro spotted two members of the corner pocket gang named Michael and Jerry Stone at a car wash in Compton and pulled over to confront them. They got hot, and then a shootout occurred, and 4 men were hit. Anderson was taken to the MLK Jr. Community Hospital in Willowbrook, California, but then he died of a gunshot wound to the chest. So Jerry and Michael also died. So now you got 3 people dead. DeRoe was the only person survived, and guess what? He was charged with and convicted of all 3 murders just because he was the only survivor.
Because he's the only one left. They're like, we got no one else.
Yeah. And apparently this was just a disagreement over drug money with the rival gang. So it was not related to the Tupac case. Now, Greg Kading would later be investigated and be removed from the case. The investigation went nowhere. They never signed another investigator to the case, and Kading ended up retiring in 2010. So after LA was vindicated, they was like, fuck this. We don't need to research this shit no more. This is too much of a mess. It takes too much money, too much resources. It's not worth it. And so recently, on September 29, 2023, it was announced that a grand jury had indicted Keffe D on charges of murder with the use of a deadly weapon in connection with the killing of Shakur. Now, Davis, Keffe D, is now 60 and was arrested the morning of September 29, 2023. Now, this is what's crazy. I watched the Vlad interview. Keffe D is old, okay? He's like a little bit older than our mother. But his family moved to Compton around the time Easy's family did. His parents and family moved to Compton in 1965 when Compton was mostly white. And then Keffe D is one of the original Crip members. So he is a shot caller. One of the things he tried to dispel away in the Vlad interview was the fact that they robbed that dude of that chain. He was like, what the fuck are we going to, we had money. Why would we steal a $450 chain?
$450.
Right. Why would Puffy, try to get people to steal a chain? I'm like, that was popular back then. Don't act like that.
Chain stealing was almost just meant to be a mockery.
Yeah, it was like we took your chain. Yeah, exactly.
Your shit. That's it.
That's it. And so, he was trying to make it seem like it wasn't even possible that was even a thing. Keffe D has a book. There is a part of it that was like, I don't trust the cops like that, but I also don't trust criminals. So,
Valid.
It's like, who can really say what happened in this whole thing? But I'm going to read how Keffe D ended up, because the Associated Press ended up releasing an article on September 29th. Now, a man who prosecutors say ordered the 1996 killing of rapper Tupac Shakur was arrested and charged with murder Friday in a long-awaited breakthrough in one of hip-hop's most enduring mysteries. Dwayne Keffe D. Davis had long been known to investigators as one of 4 suspects identified early in the investigation. He isn't the accused gunman, but was described as the group's ringleader by authorities Friday at a news conference and in court. And in Nevada, you can be charged with a crime, including murder, if you help someone commit the crime. So Dwayne Davis was the shot caller for this group of individuals that committed this crime, said Las Vegas police homicide lieutenant Jason Johansson, and he orchestrated the plan that was carried out. Davis himself has admitted in interviews and in his 2019 tell-all memoir, Compton Street Legend, that he provided the gun used in the drive-by shooting. Authorities said Friday that Davis' own public comments revived the investigation. Davis, now 60, was arrested early Friday while on a walk near his home on the outskirts of Las Vegas, hours before prosecutors announced in court that a Nevada grand jury had indicted the self-described gangster on one account of murder with a deadly weapon. He is due in court next week. The grand jury also voted to adding a sentencing enhancement to the murder charge for gang activity that could add up to an additional 20 years if he is convicted.
Oh, yikes.
Hundreds of pages of transcripts released Friday provide a view into the first month of grand jury proceedings, which began in late July with testimony from former associates of Davis, friends of Shakur, and a slate of retired police officers involved in the case early on. Their testimony painted a picture for the jurors of a deep, escalating rift between Shakur's music label Death Row Records, and Bad Boy Records, which had ties to Davis and represented Shakur's rap rival, Biggie Smalls. It started the whole West Coast, East Coast rivalry that primarily defined the hip hop scene during the mid 1990s. One of Davis's former associates testified. The first ever arrest in the case came after Las Vegas police in mid-July raided Davis's home in the nearby city of Henderson for items they described at the time as concerning to the murder of Tupac. And Davis denied an interview request Friday from jail, and court records don't list an attorney who can commit on his behalf. Phone and text messages to Davis and his wife on Friday in the months since the July 17th search weren't returned. And in a statement Friday, Sakiwa Set Shakur, the rapper's sister, described the arrest as a victory. There is no doubt a pivotal moment. The silence of the past 27 years surrounding this case has spoken loudly in our community, she says. It's important to me that the world and the country, the justice system, and our people acknowledge the gravity of the passing of this man, my brother, my mother's son, and my father's son. And on the night of September 1996, Shakur and his BMW driven by Death Row Records founder Marion Suge Knight, they were waiting at a red light on the Las Vegas Strip when a white Cadillac pulled up next to them and gunfire erupted. Shakur was shot multiple times and died a week later at the age of 25. And Davis, in his memoir, said that he was a passenger in the Cadillac and had slipped a gun into the back seat for where he said the shots were fired. He has implicated his son, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, saying that he was one of two people in the back seat. And Anderson, a known rival of Shakur, had involved in a casino brawl with the rapper shortly before the shooting. Little did anyone know that this incident right here would ultimately lead to the retaliatory shooting and death of Tupac Shakur. Anderson died 2 years later. He denied any involvement in Shakur's death. Emails seeking comment from two lawyers who had previously represented Knight were not immediately returned, and Knight was grazed by a bullet fragment in the shooting, but had only minor injuries. He is serving 28 years in prison in California for an unrelated voluntary manslaughter charge. So,
yikes.
That is murder rap. And, you know, when I first saw it, I was like, huh? Because I knew, obviously, the gang element, but whether or not it was an orchestrated hit, you know, and which is what prompted me to do it now, because everybody has been talking about the whole P. Diddy shit. And I was like, you know what? This would be a great time to do murder rap, because if we're going to, you know, you want to nail P. Diddy to the cross, let's nail him with some fucking Tupac shit too, because it goes, you know, it's like no disrespect to, like, obviously the situation with Cassie or with Kim Porter or with, you know, any of those people, but obviously, like, you know, P. Diddy, if this is true, because who knows, but if this is true, like, this man always has death around him. He's always somehow associated somewhere, you know, with an associate's passing. And I've seen some conspiracy theories on TikTok too, where, you know, people have associated him with the death of Andre Harrell, who was his partner, his business partner, who had passed away, I think during COVID, Heavy D, who had passed away several years back, Albie Shore's coma, who, as we know, Albie Shore's son has been raised by P. Diddy, who is Quincy Brown. Quincy Brown is Kim Porter's and Albie Shore's son who's been raised by Diddy. Albie Shore was in a coma during the COVID as well. There was some interesting videos. It's funny too, because there was this podcast that I watched with this woman by the name of Jaguar Wright. And Jaguar Wright talks about how Puffy started this record label called Uptown Records before it was Bad Boys Entertainment. It was Andre Harrell, Albie Shore, Heavy D. Kim Porter was an assistant there. And then there was Puffy. And out of all of them, the only 2 people that are alive is Albie Shore and Puffy. And Albie Shore, at the time of her interview, had just got out of a coma. So there's just some elements of it where it's like, who is this dude?
He's not beating the Grim Reaper allegation.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
It's like everyone's dying around you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel right.
It doesn't. And you know what's funny too is that I saw this other thing with this girl where she was talking about how the interesting thing about Cassie's lawsuit was that Cassie didn't just sue Diddy. Cassie also sued all of his businesses. Mm-hmm. By suing all of his businesses, she has forced him to almost step down on all of his business ventures.
Which is great.
Because at the end of the day, when you sue a business, what that taps into is their insurance. And what ends up happening is your insurance provider is like, oh, so we got an insurance claim that's for a large amount. And we just saw the court documents. And the court documents show that you're an absolute piece of shit. In order to save this company, you must go. Which is the reason why he stepped down from Revolt a couple days ago. Which is probably, you know, why he's not going to handle the marketing for Ciroc. Which I hope he doesn't, because I like Ciroc. Which is probably the best way to get a person like him, who's as egotistical as he is to hit his pockets.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
quiet,
he's gonna be quiet. But even like the videos of him where he's just like submitted to just like look like crying in his fucking hands, it's because you're a piece of shit and you deserve everything that you're getting.
That's also, I hope those are real.
I mean,
they're not like, you know,
AI
old bullshit pictures or him just faking it. Because he's fucking.
It could be.
Him's a wee bit evil.
But you know, Mama told me too that the girl that the like Asian woman or whatever he just had that baby with, she saw somewhere that she is one of the people that was like bugging fucking Kim Porter's house or some shit. She was like the head of his like tech and security. Like she handles his surveillance, which I'm like, who is this nigga?
Yeah. Well, he
like
knows what he did, so.
Sure, but
or
it's
what
like
he's done.
And I know money talks, but at the end of the day, like I hate to say it, but he's just a music producer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah,
the way I feel about it, the same way I feel about movies. It's like if he was just a movie producer, like if he was Weinstein, it's like who the fuck gives these people this much power? That you just make music. Mm-hmm. You're not a politician.
Yeah, they give themselves that much power, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, the money is what gives them power.
They want that power.
Yeah. So, well, I hope you learned something.
Don't trust Suge Knight
or Puffy. And I link the Vlad interviews, Greg Kading, Keefe D in the show notes. I didn't link Keefe D's book. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to. Also, I haven't read it, so.
Okay.
But Murder Rap is on Peacock, so go check that out. Go listen to all these niggas' albums because they were all great. And I hope this is coherent when I listen to it later. But there's no telling. This is the beautiful part about Swear to Drunk I'm Not God is that tomorrow is going to be like Russian roulette. It's going to be like, whoa, do I need to redo this whole episode all over again? Or not? Because I was definitely eating these Gardettos.
I don't think you've been eating them as much as you think you've been eating them.
Maybe because I just taste the garlic in my mouth. So maybe that's what it is. So, Kirrah, you got anything else you want to say?
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to Kirrah. Boom, 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 boom,
31.
boom, boom, boom,
Send me $3,100.
Boom, boom. Y'all, you don't listen to Black Keys? The album was bomb.
It's just like, what is Guitar Hero solo?
Like straight up. But Black Keys is shit. You should listen to that. I encourage you all to listen to this podcast because it's fun. That's number one. I encourage you to go to my TikTok and follow me if that's your thing. Because that's also fun. Because I roll around in my sports bra a lot on there.
What?
I encourage you to follow my sister, Naomi Campbellhead _.
But don't expect too much.
Yeah,
I
don't
do
expect
not
a lot.
be
She's
in my
not.
sports
She's not
now.
active.
It's just pictures of my
Or
cat.
just go to Swear to Drunk podcast on Instagram and follow that, just so you can keep up with the topics. I don't engage with people at all, so I'm sorry, but I don't. I do on TikTok, but I don't on Instagram. So you can go to Swear to Drunk. You can add me there. You can follow me at Lavender and Bordeaux. There, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can do that, or you can not do that. Either way it go, I'm coming
man,
with
it's your
episodes
world.
every other week. I'm just
a
squirrel trying to get a nut.
And a nap.
Period. Kirrah just got off work. So I invite you all to engage with us on social media. You can comment, do your thing. I'm probably ignore it, but you should do it anyway.
Great.
If you're hot, I'll probably reply if you're a dude.
Oh. There's
I don't
so
know.
many
I'm
things
just-
I'm learning.
I'm just
like,
not that way. I just be talking shit. Like, people don't understand. I just be talking shit for real. And but I thank you. I thank you all. Again, thank you for listening last week or a couple weeks ago to Yummy. Thank you for listening to Vampire Sacramento. Thank you for listening to last season. And I hope you all come back in the next couple of weeks. How about that? Does that work for you?
Or don't.
What?
Fuck what you
Okay. And then that is where we ended. Good night. Bye.